They built 22 cabins on my private lake land. Without asking, my sanctuary invaded, my rules ignored. So I did what they never expected. Imagine this, a quiet, untouched lake, your private escape, where your family dreams, laughs, and relaxes. Then one day you wake up, and 22 cabins have appeared across your shoreline, HOA, approved, trespassing, mocking your privacy. They thought they could take what was mine. They thought I'd let them get away with it. But I didn't panic. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I planned. Every inch of my lake became a private resort, gates, private docks, rules so strict. Even the HOA couldn't touch it. And the moment they tried to challenge me, they realized the cost of messing with someone who truly owns their land and refuses to back down. 6 years of protecting every inch of my private lake, my sanctuary, my escape. The sun glinted on the water in golden streaks. The docks were polished, the shoreline pristine. Every tree, every rock, every inch of earth reflected the sweat, patience, and dreams I had poured into this place. I still remember the day it all changed. I drove up to the lake, my boots crunching softly on the gravel path, and froze. My jaw went tight. There they were, 22 cabins, 22 structures that didn't belong, erected in what had been my untouched sanctuary. HOA, approved, standing bold and unapologetic. I felt a sharp ache in my chest, disbelief, anger, frustration all rolled into one. They hadn't knocked, they hadn't asked, they hadn't even cared. They had taken my lake, my peace, my dreams, and turned it into a miniature community, as if it were theirs to claim. Neighbors whispered, some smirking, some filming on their phones. I could see them leaning from their windows, watching my reaction like a TV drama. And the worst part, the HOA had legal papers in hand. They claimed the cabins were approved, claiming authority over land that, according to every deed, survey, and historical record, was mine. I clenched my fists, my nails biting into my palms. Anger alone wouldn't help. This required strategy. I walked the shoreline slowly, tracing the boundaries of my property with my eyes. I measured in my head, imagining gates, private docks, clear rules, surveillance, paths rerouted, every inch accounted for. I could almost feel the power shifting back to me already, even though the cabins were there, mocking me. I spent hours that day documenting everything. Photos of the cabins from every angle, notes on which parts of the shoreline they encroached on, historical surveys dating back decades, old deeds proving my ownership. Every piece of paper was a weapon in what I knew would become a battle. That night, I sat by the fire pit, staring across the lake. The reflection of the new cabins glimmered in the water, intruding on my peace. But I made a silent promise. They think they've won. They have no idea what's coming. The next morning, I began the plan. This wasn't a battle of fists or shouts. This was a war of preparation, law, and strategy. First, I mapped every inch of the shoreline. Every tree, every dock, every pathway was accounted for. I planned gates at all entry points. Private docks for our family use only, clear signage enforcing boundaries. Cameras went up small, discreet, high definition, each positioned to capture any trespass or intrusion. I also did my research. HOA rules, local county regulations, zoning laws, permits, everything was scrutinized. I documented every violation the HOA had made in approving those cabins. Every misstep became a piece of ammunition. Every loophole, a way to reinforce my authority. Neighbors began whispering. Some tried to challenge me, thinking I wouldn't follow through. Some mocked me openly. You can't stop them. The HOA has more power than you. I smiled quietly. That was exactly what I wanted them to think. Underestimation was a weapon. Weeks passed. Docks were rebuilt, paths rerouted, gates installed. Signs declaring private property appeared along the shoreline. Cameras recorded everything, every approach, every trespass attempt. The lake that had once been crowded with unauthorized cabins was now fully under my rules. The HOA could threaten, but every threat was met with documents, permits, and facts proving my ownership. The transformation wasn't quick. Each day was a battle of patience. Contractors, surveyors, and workers moved deliberately. Every inch of the land had to be reclaimed, every cabin's interaction with the shoreline carefully controlled. By the third month, the lake had changed. The cabins were still there, yes, but under my rules. Access was controlled. Paths were private. Every dock was secured. The HOA representatives who had once laughed and mocked now hesitated to even approach. Their arrogance, built on assumption and fear, began to crumble. The final confrontation came quietly but powerfully. The HOA sent representatives smug, confident, armed with papers and signatures. They thought a few threats and official letters would be enough to reclaim the land they didn't own. I walked onto the main dock, sunlight reflecting off the water. My family stood behind me. Every dock, every cabin, every path was under our control. The gates were locked, cameras pointed, rules enforced. The HOA reps waved papers, gesturing angrily. But the law, the documents, the deeds all spoke louder than their voices. Slowly, panic replaced their smugness. Slowly, they realized their power was gone. Slowly, they understood they couldn't touch this land without trespassing, and every step would be documented. One by one, they left, defeated, humiliated, exposed. The 22 cabins, once a symbol of intrusion, now reflected my strategy, patience, and unwavering conviction. My family and I walked along the shoreline that evening. The sun reflected on the water, docks glimmered, cabins secure under our rules. Waves lapped gently, birds circled overhead. My sanctuary, my lake, my peace fully restored. Some victories are won with force, some with law, some with patience, and some, the most important ones, are won with strategy, clarity, and unshakable determination. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.